Okay, I think we have the stream, the chat fixed, which is exciting. I changed my Twitch handle, so that is why it was not working last time. But we should be good. I'm gonna do my best to not sing to you guys, but I don't know how well I'll do. Let's see. Stay with me. This is interesting. I'm thinking about bluffing here. I probably should block. I don't know about this big turn. This is just a mistake. You could either have ace 9, ace 8. Block makes a lot more sense. We're just shutting this down. I went big, but it actually doesn't make sense. I check raise ace 8, ace king, and aces probably, and yeah, this is just I think we can block though. We can block and still reasonably get folds from like sevens and like other hands. He could have bluffed us there, but who knows? Probably unlikely after the pot size turn bet. Stay with me. So my plan is to change this overlay a little. I think I want to shrink the tables just so you can see the background a little bit more. And then probably add a place for like, you know, add a place for like recent subscribers, etc. So it's kind of a bummer that like I can't. This is a like a standing desk, and I can't really use it while I'm streaming because I have to use this second monitor. My display port cable is too short. I just need to get a longer one because I have to use my HDMI for this second screen, which I usually don't use. Don't do night. Okay, so we have ace 4 in the 215. I think we can like half pot or 2/3 this. Still expect lots of floats beyond pairs, but he should have many pairs worse than ace 4. And then, oh, are you not working? Oh, I picked the wrong thing. Nope, that's not it. This is it. There we go. Top pair with a queen. This guy fish tagged. I don't know why, though. I've mentioned before my tags are pretty meaningless. I don't think we get to raise here. We have a reasonable bluff catcher. Just jamming. Like 10 jack does get there. At this point, I think we're blocking more bluffs than value. I'm just going to fold. I'm trying out keeping a pretty simple HUD up today. You guys can't see it, but I do have a simple HUD up. I've avoided using a HUD most of my poker career because for the small piece of time that I did use a HUD, I found that it just did not help and it just made things worse. It was too much information that I didn't know how to use, and I didn't really know how to implement the information well. But I've avoided using it ever since, and I think I almost certainly at a point in my career where I know how to use a HUD and not let it like drive too many of my decisions. I would hope. So we'll see how it goes today. My general piece of advice for people with HUDs is if you don't know how to analyze your own database, like if you don't know how to look at your own database reasonably and look for leaks and like what those leaks mean and how you would adjust up against them and analyze, then you probably have no real business using a HUD. Like you probably don't really know what the information you're looking at means. And I see way too often people are kind of using HUDs to make binary decisions. And they don't understand how, like, what is a good sample size, etc. We're going to flop top pair here with Jack 9. I can see us just going 3-E or check on this flop. And I'm trying to think here what 3-E would be at this stack depth. And like pot goes to 15. It's too big. I think our hand's good enough. I was on the fence, but I think it's good enough. Blocking 9-10, I think, makes it more likely to be good enough. We're going to 3-bet this hand. We get the king high flop. So this is a spot where I don't know if we can range check actually, but range bet, but I think we can, given that people probably don't attack king high boards and check raises enough, would be my guess. That we can check raise pretty aggressively. And then once we small bet, I expect lots of floats from out of position there's not a lot here. So like lots of backdoor floats. So on the king, our ace high is probably good. And then we actually do have a bluff catching candidate on river once the river comes to 3. It really is going to depend on how often we think they might bluff something like ace 10. But I don't think they would. The small size is a reasonable size to go with here. I do like having ace 9 over having like ace 10 or ace jack or even ace queen because there's all the broadways that we could be unblocking. We do block hands like 9s. I think we're going to go for the call. He has 8s, which is good. This is a reasonable hand. Didn't see really anything unexpected. It's the kind of hand that we expect, but I think we can also expect lots of similar bluffs from, like I said, all the Broadway combos, and then potentially even hands like worse ace-x than us. I wonder if he needs to be bluffing the worse ace-x, though, in order to make that bluff catch good. But it's a small size, so we don't have to be right that often. I wonder if that's a spot, though, where like his bluff size bigger. It's a weird spot to size bigger, though, right? Like it looks weird. Although he should be going bigger, given that he should have king X fairly often. And honestly, 8s might even be able to go bigger. Because I might be able to even continue on turn with hands like queens and jacks. So 8s might be able to go bigger on that river. Potentially miss value. And I think I might even like the call more if he goes bigger. Maybe not, actually. Maybe it's a spot where like value can be more creative and find a larger size, whereas bluffs, it will, when with a bluff, it will look harder to imagine that we're going bigger. I'm not sure. I am not sure. I'm working on setting up streaming on YouTube, guys, and I'm probably going to stop streaming on Twitch. So if you guys are enjoying the stream, definitely go check me out on YouTube. That's where most of my content lives. And where most of it will probably continue to live. I don't know if this is I don't know if this is a cold 4-bet bluff, but we're going for it. I feel like these overperform. Game 2, we call king 10 out of the big blind, flop an open ender. Not going to be playing a huge schedule today, guys. So I'm just thinking about the amount that I'm going to be check raising and how often I want to do it. And do I think he's going to go small to 3-way? I think so. I think we can go big. I think we can check raise. $18 will bring us to 30, but 36. Trying to go geometric here. I might have gone too big on flop. Just a tad. Had we not picked up a spade, I probably wouldn't kept barreling this hand. We do just get there on the river, though. I know the spade's not direct equity, but we just interact with more calls now. If we did have 9-10, we probably would have also fired the third barrel, and maybe not. Depends on the 9-10. I guess we could be good at that point. I'm trying to think what our third barrel bluffs would be. Maybe our missed flush draws. Right when I started the stream, I just like yeeted a cup of water off the counter. So ace jack here. It's probably both options are fine. Obviously folding to a 4-bet. My stats on this guy show him to be a bit of a nit, which I'm not sure if this makes ace jack do better or worse. We're not just in check fold territory yet. We are kind of in bluff catching. Double check makes me feel good. He could have ace queen, but I think we're doing pretty well. And then I think we just win here a lot. I'm probably chopping. I'm a little surprised he never goes for the bluff with queen jack. Sup, ship it. Love to see the chat working. Love to see the chat working. Let me know, guys, what you guys think of the chat box and where it's at, and if it's easily visible, even with me like moving behind it and stuff. I can make it more opaque if needed. I'm not sure I agree with you that YouTube sucks, but I think mostly it's just like I would like one home for all my content and my followers. It'd be nice to not have to like migrate things a bunch. Man, the skill jump from the 55 to the 109 is I have found to be pretty extreme. Like $55 runners play, but very different than 109s. I mean, it's twice as much money, which makes sense. They're in my mind, they seem close to each other, but I don't think that's true in many people's minds. Very check raisable hand here. Man, what a good turn for us. I expect a lot of leads from big blind here in particular. But we'll see what they do. And I'm not sure what we're gonna do. Like half pot's kind of gross. In terms of like, I'm just thinking about like for our hand, it's obviously fine, but I'm thinking about like when we have aces, kings, and stuff. Do we raise? Do we ever think to raise the half pot? And it's just like it's way too spicy here. There's going to be sets behind. There's going to be, you know, we do get there though. And the scary thing with our flush here is that there actually will be a lot of flushes behind here that we need to worry about. I think block makes a lot of sense here. Oh, there's a full house. The board paired. Okay, I feel good now. He checks too quick, I think, to be like slow playing a full house. Okay, we just win. Whoa, 3-5 of clubs. Ace and offsuit betting on Jack 8-6. Bottom pair connects. I'm trying to think how often we're going to be betting bottom pair. He just lead for small. We're going to have lots of, like, I think we're betting a lot. I don't know if ace-10 can fold, and I think not having a spade is actually good. The river bet gets a little dicier if we see it, but there is, we do interact with 9-10. There's still 7-8. And he blocks again. Blocks again. I think block again is actually worse for our hand. I think most bluffs think to try to rep a 6 or a jack. And then I think we're just going to fold. Oh, let's break. Maybe. I might be like reacting too much to sizings in terms of like what I think is intuitive with bluffs. Because for a small bet, the window of error for me is quite small for me to just be making too big of folds. Although ace-10's like, there's no way ace-10 there is like that big a fold. Having a 10 is obviously bad. And having an ace might even be bad. But having an ace probably isn't bad. But so like I might be overreacting to the sizings though. Like when I see small sizes in spots where I just expect bluffs to go large, I might be weighting that too heavily. Because again, it doesn't take much error for a small bet to become pretty good. For bluff catching, a small bet to become pretty good. Like they can, all it takes is they don't quite go thin enough with value, and some of their hands that are mixing both, or some hands that are going pure big, you know, they just don't think it through that much, and they just decide to go small again. And one of the things that I've been learning is I'm not quite dialed into the MTT regs thought process yet. Still, after having played for the last 2 years. It's a very, like, obviously MTT players and cash players just view spots very differently. So I'm still kind of figuring that out. But I'm going to go get some water and I'll be right back, guys. Dude, you know what? I don't know how we do it with it. For the kids, trying to do a period. And like my third my office back. So the bottom. Top box looks good. It's good to see. Yeah, I think this is a cool like look for the overlay. It's just something I came up with for 80 years. I know it's been a while. I've been cutting my teeth in the MTT streets. A little too embarrassed to bring my game to you all, which was probably unnecessary, but I've just started kind of hitting my stride. Also, there's just other reasons I want to start streaming. I'm gonna have different kinds of streaming content coming to you guys with. Um, yeah, I got some other cool stuff on the way. Me and Kevin Rabbit Chow. So Kevin and I are going to do a live stream where we go through some of my hands, and just have a conversation about kind of my thought process and things that are going on. I think I'm really excited about that. We're going to be doing that. I don't know how often we're going to do that, but we're going to do that here soon. We're just basically accumulating hands and some video, and we're going to do that. He'll be watching live for the first time. So basically what we're going to do is have clips ready that I can play. And when those clips get played, we'll both watch it together. I obviously will have seen it, but then we'll just kind of talk back and forth about the hand. So it'll be kind of a live, I guess, coaching session, you could call it. But we're going to be doing that here soon. So that's exciting. I know I do miss you guys though. I miss streaming. It is so much more fun to stream and to play and feel like you're doing it with people. I know like I don't see you guys, but it feels more interactive, and I enjoy that. And I was saying last time I streamed, I actually think I play better. Maybe I don't play that much better, but I certainly think I improve more. I catch my thought process and my mistakes more often because I'm verbalizing it so often that it's like out there. I hear it, and it's easier to notice trends in behavior and thought processes. And a big part, I think, of the success that I found in 2K Iggy, because I was kind of like at peak play when I was streaming, and certainly towards the end of me streaming, I was at my peak ability in that pool. And I think a really big part of it was the streaming. Was I was improving a lot through the medium of streaming. I don't know if you guys have been seeing, but I've been releasing a lot of YouTube content. A lot of my Twitch audience, I don't know if it has migrated to my YouTube, but if you want to check it out, I really appreciate it. Man, I just watched a guy on the. Oh, you guys are watching the same table. To get the nut flush draw in, drawing dead on the turn is depressing. You don't expect that often. I think they got it all in on the flop, and just to be like, no sweat, just drawing dead. He hit a straight draw too. He hit a straight draw and a flush draw, and just like, nope, no, you have no equity on the turn. So sad. Please be as interactive as possible. Makes the stream more fun for me. Ask questions. I love answering questions. Anything you guys are dealing with in your own poker games, I would love to answer them. What is graphical head? Do I like this more? I think I've decided I don't. Yeah, I remember you. How are the micro sticks going? Oh, I do not like this HUD at all. Can you guys see this table? You cannot. We have aces, yay! I think 6 is fine at 40 BBs. You know what's interesting, guys? I have found in my transition to tournaments, and you hear this a lot from cash players, but tournaments are harder. They're harder than cash. I would say by a pretty significant margin. Yeah, the cash the review stream, hand review stream is gonna be sick. It's gonna be super fun. But like I said, I think it's probably gonna live on my YouTube. So if you guys don't follow me on YouTube, I would highly recommend you guys try and, you know, make the move over there. We're getting 4-bet with the aces. I tried. I don't see this guy's stats. You know, you just don't expect a lot of 4-bet bluffs. So I think we just stick it in. Cold 4-bet bluffs, particular. It's just not common. So if it was common, if there were spots where there were like lots of 4-bet bluffs, I would probably flat the aces and only jam the kings, because I would expect a lot of the bluffs to be ace high, and just getting that equity to fold is still worth it with kings, plus the times that you're ahead. But when there aren't 4-bet bluffs, then your EV of jamming just goes up so much. You're just so often an 80-20 favorite at worst, and then at best you're that, you know, like a 92-8 dog. But I hope you guys have been doing well. Hope you guys have been weathering the poker streets fine without me. It's been a good it's been a very growthful few years since I've seen you guys. I think it's been about 2 years since I streamed last, maybe a little bit longer. Yeah, probably more like 2.5 years. I had a daughter. I don't know if I had a daughter last time I streamed. I don't think I did. I'm almost certain I didn't. So I had a daughter. I got a divorce. Oh, I'm glad you watched it. Yeah, that combo with Darius was great. He's facing a surprising amount of backlash from people. Not like a ton, but none of my other conversations have really ran into any friction from people. And I've been a little surprised at the amount of backlash that he's kind of like pushback he's kind of received. Not even me, which I guess makes sense considering people are watching my channel. Because I'm used to receiving so much pushback from people. But yeah, I had people are very skeptical of him and his claims. I think unnecessarily. I think quite unnecessarily. Mm. 6 blinds with ace 9. This is large. I wonder if we just like, I mean, we just have too good a hand to fold, even though he's kind of a nit, because it could just be hands he determines as good too often. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's much cards. Half pot again. I think we're just gonna call. It's possible we can just it is possible we can just fold pre versus the 6. Facing the check. I guess here we're either place facing a hand that's good and scared based on the board run out, or a hand we're probably beating. So I don't think we're facing that many like deuce X, for example. So I'm just gonna check. He checks, and we're gonna check and hope to win as well against like queen jack suited or something. He said ace jack. Super reasonably well played from him. Yeah, I think we played that fine. I don't think seeing the ace means we should be bluffing more. I want to hide my HUD. There we go. There we go. I don't need to see my own stats. Okay, queen 9. Seems like the kind of hand we can put in a single blind with. Yeah, I had a good time with that convo with Darius. Darius and I can just flow. We both just have a lot to say. So there's some people for which you have when you're doing a podcast, the challenge is getting enough to say. With Darius, we both had too much to say, which is, I think, good for the viewers on average, as long as we're both good at like listening and exchanging with each other. But I really enjoyed it. It's doing really well. It's performing well on YouTube, which is cool. That's always exciting to see. We are going to bluff here. We have a very bad jack, so we have equity with a 9. And this is the kind of combo in a lot of runouts we will continue to fire. Just good interaction. The big and little. Playing regular tables, 3 to 6K hands per session. Every day feels the same and running under EV all the time, but still making somewhat okay profit. Nice. Glad you're growing your bankroll. Oh, we got Weasel here with 50 blinds. We're definitely going to 3-bet the Weasel. Let's do this, Weasel. I'm noticing there's no color in my chat box. I do not love this. Let's see if we can change this. Theme, Twitch. Text color. Background color. Maybe it's just the we bet big on this low card board. We're going to block this. We'll go a little bit bigger than block. We are interacting with some of the aces that we'll call flop, like ace 10. We got you, Weasel. I wouldn't say either, Adam. Harder in terms of it is more complex. Cash is like this game of very limited variables. Like there's just so many fewer variables. You're playing in so many of the same spots over and over and over and over and over again. So by definition, you just get more reps, more practice. You can get more precise in the spots. In theory, you would imagine what this does is it creates an environment where everybody is more precise. That wasn't my experience on average in Cash, not just on Iggy, but other places. Like I just find that I actually found that Cash encouraged a kind of complacency. I spoke about this with EQ, but I was talking about live. But now that I think about it, I do think it applies well online. It is so easy to just get locked into the way that you play, even when you're a good reg and you're playing at competitive levels, that as long as you were willing to continue to improve at the same spots you're playing all the time, which I think is one of my strengths, if I'm being honest, just like constantly improving. I just found it somewhat easy to thrive in that environment and to just eke out a solid win rate. Tournaments are way more dynamic. There's just so many more variables. And so even some of the like the not the best players in like a theoretical sense, where if like you put them into Cash and like some spots, they would just be playing so many spots just in a theoretical sense horribly. But experience and just having a sense of how people are thinking and like the kinds of spots is so much more weighted strongly in tournaments that even that I actually find the pool of competitive players. I'm also playing on ACR, which is it's not a soft tournament site, right? But I find players are just competitive. Like they're here to try to win, and they have good intuitions for spots where, yeah, it's complicated. And so I've been impressed with the way tournament players navigate. Even though there's plenty of spots where I think they're making lots of theoretical errors, their general sense in a lot of spots is just good. I guess we can just fold fives here. So I guess I mean in that way, and it's just harder to study. In my Cash study, if I dedicated myself to, let's say, certain kinds of situations, I feel like I could move through, like, let's say a different kind of situation every day or so, or maybe even every week. I could move through every reasonable spot, like single raise pots, button versus big blind, like moving to 3-bet pots in the common situations, moving to 4-bet pots. I could just navigate through the whole game tree over like 6 months and just iterate that every 6 months, just moving through, studying every spot. Dude, just fucking can't be done in tournaments. Like it's just they're too tough. Like there's too many spots, too many situations. So making a path of approach to feel like I'm consistently improving and I'm improving in the spots that matter, and yeah, it's just more complicated. Oh, you're not even watching me. I'm so bad at switching tables right now because I don't have the hotkey set up. We scoop here, which is awesome because we lost a somewhat big one earlier. We're gonna 3-bet ace jack. Long answer for what I mean by harder, but I've never been short-winded. We get clicked back. This is one of our worst 4-bets, so we'll probably just let it go. I'm doubting that we're supposed to fold this, but at the very least, I can probably assume that we're not getting. It was very small though, and even if we're not getting bluffed enough, do we have enough equity to continue? I don't know. We can check raise here with the queen 7. We're easily going to call. It's a pretty bad turn in terms of facing the check raise line. But I do expect a lot of 7x to just stop betting. But instead we face this, which is now like 10x in straights and flushes. Yeah, we'll just fold. You're not red enough. You mean in terms of you're not redlining? You're not redlining enough? You know, when I switched to tournaments, I was like ultimate redliner in cash. I was redlining a ton, right? When I switched to tournaments, my red line was doing terrible. It took a while before my red line started performing well. And one of the big things was beyond just talking about the strategic things that cause red line, one of the biggest things was discomfort around making mistakes. Like not wanting to make mistakes just caused me to play more passively. When I was less worried about making mistakes, I just started getting out there more, and my red line improved more as a result, I think, of my headspace than as a result of like focusing on a strategic decision. Because when you focus on strategic decisions, you carry that insecurity with you. Like if you're focusing on studying to improve your feeling of not wanting to make mistakes, you're still going to get in spots where you're unsure and make mistakes. Spots when you're unsure and choose passivity. Sorry, not make mistakes. But if you carry the fear of making mistakes with you, an unhealthy level of fear of making mistakes, I guess I should say, like some concern around making mistakes is normal, but a fear that like if I make any mistakes, I'm not winning. You know, like that's just going to come with passivity. I wonder if I could put like a little border around this chat box. Looking at it now, I like the opaqueness of it, but I think a slight solid border just to kind of highlight it, maybe make it glow a little, just make it stand out against the background and look less like it's just. Or would be even coolest to have it fade. So one or the other. Either have it like fade into the background so there's not a clear border to it, but it kind of like slowly fades into just the video. That'd be cool too. Guys, I don't know if King 4 suited is an open here. Most of you guys are cash players, so you guys aren't going to know either. Getting through it. I wonder if we can 4-bet this. It's like our worst king. I don't think so. We're probably, I don't know. I don't think I 4-bet enough in tournaments. The SPR differences make for some pretty unintuitive 4-bet hands. And like the lack of rake changes like your 4-bet frequency. You don't 4-bet as much in some spots as you would in. King pushes it again, guys. In a spot where it's definitely an open. I wouldn't be that surprised if we can call King 4 suited, but to 6.4. I wouldn't be that surprised. like king 5. King 5, king 6 are becoming... Like, I feel really positive king 6 is a call. The calling range, all of this stuff's just pretty bizarre. It's like memories or imagination. It's funny. This is interesting. I don't know if we fold ace 10, honestly, to this. Like 35. I guess because it's a flat, like it's probably a fold. If we just opened and got jammed on, we're probably calling, but... Whoa, that makes it easy. We're playing another hand against Weasel. Oh, calling the big blind and then calling a flop C bet. We get this big turn bet. Getting devious ideas against Weasel, but just gonna let it go. Yeah, it's weird that chat colors are not... I don't know why. We can probably go to 4. Like, I don't know why. Because, like, in the preview for it, it shows them as color. I don't know. I do not know. You know what I'm also noticing is that, like, every time I click properties, I think I'm resetting chat. Oops. Okay. Multi-way here. We'd probably go small. We're going to be playing the high roller starting at 11. Yep. High roller and another 215, the 100K 215. Should we play a Venom Sat? 2 tickets. Maybe we'll play Venom Sat too. Maybe. Whoa, aces. You guys knew before I did. Because I had the lobby in front. Oh, I'm a Raphael fan all day. Raphael fan all day. So we're going to be 4-betting here. It took me a long time to realize I have an analytical mind. I know this is not what you brought up, but you said since I have an analytical mind is where my thought went. An analytical mind as compared to others, which is the only reference point that matters. I'm only playing 3 games right now, and I think we'll probably only get 5 going because of that's I guess if we play the Venom, we'll have 6. Oh, the Venom satellite. Is check off here? Can we just jam? Too much to jam, I think. I'm not doing a lot of 2 size 3 bets in these later spots. I was noticing there were too many spots where I was using 2 sizes where I haven't actually seen it a ton in theory. There are spots where it comes up, but I was overdoing the 2 different size strat, like an all in and a non all in. There's some spots where it's like we're just shallow enough and it's late enough in position, so their range is wide enough to where we can just be only jamming, never non all in 3 betting. What am I looking at? Oh, I want to change the degree to which I made this opaque. Yeah, I was always a Raphael fan when it comes to Ninja Turtles. I have, since growing up, this is a sign of maturity, learned to respect Leonardo. Who did you say? Michelangelo? I mean, Michelangelo is like the funnest of them, right? Or is that Don? I mean, I feel like Michelangelo and Donatello. Donatello is the kind of science-y, nerdy one, right? And Leonardo is like the leader. He's like the guy in charge, and Raphael's kind of like the impulsive, angry, bitter one. But I always liked Raphael. I thought the sai was such a cool weapon. I always thought nunchucks were stupid. It's raked pre-flop for 3 bet, like once not all. So the big EV shift will happen at 3 bets. If I remember correctly, I think that's where we get the big differences is in 3 bets, not in 4 bets. Once you're in the 4 bet part of the tree, a lot of it's the same. But it's the 3 bets that really get punished. Wish we did a double barreling here. Folding to the jam. I did have a sneaking suspicion that that is what the flushes would do when they have them. And even if they don't, it's a good bluff line. Looks very flush-like. But we had jack high, so what can go wrong? It's not a very compelling bluff spot, though, the river there. Because I think it starts getting rigged pre-flop after 3 bets. I think what's the pockets to 10 big blinds? So I think here we're going to have like jam or call. I guess maybe we'll have some very small 3 bets because we're so deep with the people behind us. Ace 4 seems like it can be a fine call. Maybe a good non all in, like a 4 blind raise. I bet 2 blind raise, like a 4 blind total bet. I think this is fine. In spots where we're gonna like expect lots of either call or fold spots, like you want your bluffs to be very easy to just let go of. King, queen high, gonna take it down though. I would have won. If I wasn't such a coward. And then coming over here, we have ace 9, and we're just gonna jam it. This is a spot where, like, for example, I would probably historically have not all in bet this, but at 25 blinds deep, this late in position, there's just no reason for a not all in size. We expect enough calls from our opponent because our range is wide enough that jamming does fine. And it just incentivizes way too many floats from out of position because the SPR is so shallow that so many hands can just realize post flop. Coming down here to king queen. Obviously calling a check raise, but should rarely happen. A spot we're probably going to polarize, and I think actually king queen does okay not going into the polar turn sizing. We have lots of other hands, and this one's just fine to even potentially take the showdown. I guess we'll just fold. Weird timing on the river though. Not sure what that means. Such a good playlist. Calling king 5 off. Probably just like a pure check raise hand. To a small size. Think this would be a still like a more polar sizing turn, and so king 5 is probably going to go into the check line. I think we do well just calling down here. Like checking twice makes it a little less likely we have flushes, and a little bit more likely we're going to get bluffed at, but still enough king X in our opponent's range where we have to be careful. And then I think Yeah, I think this is good. I think if we had 2 pair, we would do this. Potentially block. I mean, maybe 2 pair is just too thin. Maybe we should just go big. I'm just trying to think like how do we try to get value from his king X at bet turn? That's checking back river, or even rivering a queen. He should theoretically have lots of air, and if it decides to bluff, my turn seems like a good spot to take your air to bluff. Yeah, I think we're just gonna call this. Could obviously be the ace, but I also think it's tempting to just not take into this line. Like I said, no reason to take a queen into that line. I don't think you're interacting with anything important, but I always respect just going for it. The weird thing about that is I think I would have called almost everything I block with. So, like, I think my thought process with the king, I mean, he's basically saying he has the ace or he has nothing, right? It could be the king, and it could be more believably be the king. Honestly. But I would be equally suspicious with like if I had decided to go for 2 pair, a small block with 2 pair, which I think is okay. I think is sensible. That's one to look up. Yeah, I think that's fine. We have king queen off here, and we're just range betting the ace king 7 to imposition. Should face lots of worse king X and under pairs. There'll be some ace X as well, but I think blocked is okay. And then we'll polarize this turn, and we're just gonna be in bluff catching mode now and decide if we think we're getting bluffed at enough. Holding a queen's probably not great. Okay, so the 4 betting range probably changes. It's not. I'm not trying to insinuate that it doesn't change. It's more what I'm trying to say is that the rake incentive doesn't really change. That was really weird. That guy checks down ace 8. I'll take a note on that. Like, what was I? We're gonna go to 6 here. You guys watching this hand? Yep. Okay. It was like ace king 7. What exactly was that run out? Ace king 7 9 7. 7 9 7. Did we win? We did win. Yeah, that'll do. What a weird check down with ace 8. Like, you're just good. Like, why check it down? And it's useful to see because, like, when people are checking down hands that are just clear value bets by the river, when we do see the river bet, it tightens their value range in such a way that they're going to be over bluffing a lot. If there are bluffs available to them, they can also just have too tight a hand. But in that spot, maybe they don't float enough, or maybe they fire queen, jack, queen 10, etc. on the turn. But they might get to the river with, say, even like 9s, 8s, stuff like this, and just decide it's a bluff. And it's just easier to overbluff once you're not betting the right amount of value hands. And we're just jamming here. It's a bummer. Whoa. All right. We're in it, guys. Wow. I feel like sessions go one of two ways. This is almost certainly not true, but I feel like if I run good at the beginning, I always run bad at the end, and if I run bad at the beginning, I run good at the end. Obviously, almost certainly not true, but it's just a weird intuition I have. Here with ace 10, I think we can go big. Open, call, so small bet. Small blind, big blind. Big blind's going to have a really hard time defending correctly all the way down. So honestly, a call from them improves our bluff equity with this combo the most. But I can also see Weasel just folding second pair there a lot. But yeah, obviously, sorry, to get back to your thing about 4-betting, your 4-betting range will shift. But a ton of the range, like the incentives won't change that. Like you're still, the rake won't change, won't have that great an effect on your 4-betting range at that point of the game tree. And to be fair, it's not even to say that his 3-bet range might be tighter. He might just be pulling his bluffs from portions that are doing better now. Like it's a more polar spot. Like the bottom parts of his flatting range might just be incentivized to 3-bet instead of flatting. Like they might be profitable flats, but they might be better 3-bets now to be polar with. So you just have fewer linear 3-betting spots. And so your 4-bet range, I don't know. I can look though. I can look at kind of what we expect from. I think GTO Wizard has these ranges, the pre-flop rake ranges and the post-flop rake ones. But I wouldn't be surprised if like because for example, you say rake is higher, but the hands I can 3-bet for value might kind of stay the same, right? Like the ones that are good enough to bet for value, even though that the rake is higher, like it just what they expect to profit might be less. That being the case, they will just need to balance their range still. Like as long as their value ranges start doing it, the hands they choose to balance it with might just come from a more polar distribution of hands and less a linear distribution of hands. Because the equities of calling and 3-betting for the linear portions of the hands will be further apart. Whereas when you're not getting raked, when you're only getting raked post flop, they will be closer. The equity of calling and 3-betting might run closer to each other. So just seeing a more polar approach to 3-betting would make sense. That being said, you're just going to see an even more polar response to 4-betting. We're gonna call here. We could 3-bet. Weezer's tight though, so I think we'll call. Weird. I have a weird spot on another table. Just check calling. He might check though. This is a spot where we can go bigger check. Yeah, I expect a lot of checks from Riesel in a spot like that. And I think he's probably going to bet flop less than he should. And I expect him to bet turn his bluffs, possibly more than he should. And I expect 10x to get in there a lot by this point. So I really don't expect it to be a 10 or a flush draw very often. I'm gonna go a little greedy with my sizing here. Probably just had ace high. We are 3-betting ace king suited versus under the gun. And getting 4-bet. Very reggy, aggressive stats coming from this person. So I think our 4-bet with ace king, a 5-bet with ace king, I expect to do as well as it should in theory. So we're just not going to fold it or call it, because I think it'll remain. It will hold up as a 5-bet. We do run into aces. It's possible that I'm over giving people credit even in this spot. I'm trying to look for 4-bet stats. I couldn't find his direct 4-bet stat, but so I got check raise on flop and then small bet on turn, and then we're here on the river with ace high. I might call, guys. I think there's a lot of ways to end up here with too many bluffs. Not a lot of ways to end up here with too much value. 10-8 certainly gets there. There's a lot of 7x. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, we'll let this one go. You say I get it. There's going to be even more. I don't know what point of the rant on 4-betting I'm at. Guys, flop top 2. I think the ace and 1 Broadway we can range bet because the amount of second pair we'll have. We do fear Queen Jack. And ace 10. Seems like the actual bottom of our potential value range in the spot. So we're obviously going to call 1, but I'm already skeptical of that's why we called 1, is because we still have equity against some of his value bets. But if we didn't improve, I was almost certainly just check folding river. Why is he time banking so long? Just 5 6s, dude. Like, I have king X of clubs. I've just king X period. Like, I'm just gonna fold. I was gonna fold ace 2. I didn't get there. We have. I'll leave it here, I guess. 9-2. See what kind of flop we go with 9-2, and then if nothing happens, we'll go check out the other hands I'm playing. So here we have this. I think we're just the best. Like, I was gonna say I'm worried about getting check raise, but I think we just have enough equity to just call. I think we can just value bet the spot. We might even be able to go bigger. We got all in with our 8s. So far we're holding. And we held. We are just gonna check. And we just have the best hand way too often. So I'm definitely calling a river bet. I was just gonna snap. I just want to think about it for a second. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's gonna change my thought on this. All right. Gonna go get some water. I'm streaming, yeah, but you're good. All right. Sorry, buddy. My roommate and I are getting really into Marvel Rivals. I don't know what really into. We're playing Marvel Rivals a lot lately, so he was gonna come talk to me about Marvel Rivals. It's a sick game if you guys play it. Ooh, it's we get to play more tables now. Or here soon. 5 minutes or something. I haven't busted a tournament yet. I think we can just call ace queen versus the early position. Open, especially against this guy who's so tight. We're going to have queen 10 here a lot. Obviously, we're going to have nines. Might even have some jacks. I think going for the check raise is fine. I like not having the suits of the ace. I would prefer to have the same suit as the jack, I think, because I think we expect to see some jack X folds. None of our bluffs are going to pick up equity on this turn, so we're going to have to pick some tough ones to continue with. And this seems like a fine choice. Might have some worse queen X that are better choices, but I think interacting with the top end of calls is better in this spot. We're still not interacting with many folds. I'm going to follow through on this one. I'm not sure if we're supposed to. I'm not sure how I think the spot plays. This is one I'll tag for review no matter what happens, because I'm not sure how I like feeling about following through on it, but just seems okay. I'm going to tag that and kind of think about what I would want to be considering. I mean, he is someone who's super tight, which is concerning, because when we get to that third barrel, I'm expecting a lot of 2-pair plus combos. But he's also someone who's super tight. So maybe he just doesn't like calling triple barrels. And like, it doesn't look like a good spot to triple barrel, you know? And again, I think having an ace is better than like having queen 2 or something, like low cards, like out of the way in that spot. Because once we get to the river, we really want to interact with ace king. Maybe ace king is just a fold, and like maybe we don't want to do that. I don't know. That's why I want to look at it and kind of think about how I think that spot should play and how I think it might play against a person like this. All right, guys, we got our other tournaments up now. So I can, we're being flatting 9-8. The other day when I was streaming, I was busting so many tournaments that I was having to reset which table which was which so often. So we're going to go to game 4. And is it here at 215? 215, 100 game? Boom. Oh, we folded our 8-9 on it. It was a monotone flop. Nothing happened. I'm going to get to your question here, Adam. I'm not quite sure what you're asking. I read it and was a little confused by it, but I'll get to it. Might as well 3-bet the first open, right? Okay, so if it's right, but we can make an imaginary spot, like under the gun 4-bet less versus middle position 3-bet, then what? Cutoff 4-bet versus button? Because middle position versus under the gun 3-bet tighter. I mean, it's going to be more just because our value range is going to get wider and those are going to balance, right? It's not going to be more because of like it's tighter. Like it is tighter, but you want to think about just terms of like how often am I 4-betting for value? The wider the opening, the wider the 3-betting range. Well, the wider the opening ranges, the wider the 3-betting for value, the wider the 4-betting for value, the more 4-betting in general you get. We do have ace 4 suited. We are 3-betting here. We just get called. I expect a lot of greed here. Greed calls when we're so deep. Expect floats. The 8's good. We're facing less 8x. Our showdown value actually improved with the 8, so we're going to check. And then we're now chopping against every ace. So I think we're just going to go quite large. We're just chopping. Yep. We just get to go big because like we can have, I guess, it doesn't really fucking matter. Oh, pit stains. You're welcome. Okay, so interesting spot here with ace queen. Actually, if I didn't have the queen of spades, I think I'd call. King is just too tempting, but a lot of hands going to have the queen of spades that are bluffing, so I'm just going to check. Maybe ace of spades is worse. Maybe we should call it the queen of spades. Not a big spot, though. Ooh, I got to pee. We have aces. We're getting 3-bet. A huge 3-bet. Tournament regs do this thing where they like, if we get deeper, they just like infinitely size up their 3-bets and stuff when it's kind of crazy. It's unnecessary. It's probably worth 4-betting these a lot just because they're putting more money than they should and they're probably going to fold more than they should. All right, we're just in with aces. In the high roller. Bad luck with ace king, but it's probably not a jam. You can probably flat it in position. We got very tiny 3-bet from the big blinds. We called queen jack off. We're just going to fold. Just going to fold. We'd be calling a lot, but that's bottom of range, so. We went small here. I expect a lot of bluff. Oh, well, we're raising this. Not a bluff for value. Man, this is like nines, and he goes like nines with a spade, and he goes like 4-bet or 3-bet. Be sick. Call queen jack from the big blinds in a multi-way spot after getting dumped to with aces. We call. I had problems last time streaming where my camera started dying around the 2-hour mark. Curious if we're gonna run into the same problem here. We're getting check raised, which is sensible. We don't get to fold yet. I expect that we should see a lot of like ace king. Also king jack, so don't love holding a jack. And then like in this double barrel, the jack becomes way too important. I just expect ace king to check back too much, and there'll be some clubs, but like obviously it's kind of hard to find the ace 2, ace 5, and then like even random like king 9 of clubs stuff. But in those hands just hold too much equity against us anyway, so we can just fold. If I had like queen 2, I think I'd call. We'll have queen x of clubs too. That's also just a fine call. So I don't have to worry too much there about folding that spot too much. It's just gonna be hard to bluff there appropriately anyway. I got Weasel's stream up. Are we in any spot at tables with him anymore? No, we're not. Don't be a fucking king. Beat any card in the deck that isn't a king. That's quite. That's 2 outlet. Before it was a queen ever, king queen against queen. Just don't 2 and 1 out on it. It's just not fair. Should just hold it. But the snap jam he has to have like he doesn't even have like 5, 6. He doesn't. He's not going like in the straights as well. So Mm-hmm. We have ace 9 off. I'm opening more because this guy's just. I mean, ace 9's probably fine either way, but this guy's just sitting up. I think we can go big, like really big or check here. This hand seems fine. I want to see what Weasel says to me. So the music's gonna be down for a second because I just want to see what he says. Dang, he's got that cool like streamer highlighting, not highlighting, but you know what I mean, like the glow light behind. That's sick. That is sick. So this is weird. I kind of went to bluff some single pairs, but then get called by single spades, and so I'm actually going to try and show down now and win. He just had it. Real misvalue by him by just not raising the turn. If this 55 just if I get out of, I might just let it die and just play 4 tables. It just sounds chiller.
Well, so he's suited as fucking run or chopped every time I've had a bet on him. So if I'm jacked out like all basically one fucking 8 already. Nice one. I guess I'll just lose every fucking hand that I play. That sounds.
Uh-oh. Weasel's losing.
Well, on your thing, it fucking, oh my god, I'm not with these fucking things. Being with Alderman. I'll go for jacks, this guy 3 bets, this guy looks pretty fucking small. I don't think this is ever fun, so. Probably zero even. Probably zero even clear easy. And then Bill, I'm looking at all, you know, Bill can need it. If I could just have some all in ED, that'd be pretty cool. So we just start winning some all in. I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, Foxton. What are you doing here? You're over there.
You're just thinking about more about terms of balance, Adam, less than like, oh, get to 4-bet bluff it wide. I mean, we get to do that more if we expect spots to be overfolded, but honestly, the more polar people's like 3-betting ranges get, the better they do at defending them. So 4-bet bluffs can start underperforming because or about perform as well as you think. Because like the more people, yeah, it's just easier to defend a polar range, right? Like when you 4-bet it, the bluffs, the folds are kind of clear and the calls are kind of clear. But when it's linear ranges that typically you see are overfolded. People don't know where the threshold is and they just tend to err on the side of tightness. So if you see your pool still kind of 3-betting in a polar manner, which you can just notice by showdowns, 4-bet bluffs will probably do really well. Sorry, if you see people 3-betting in a linear manner, I think that's what I said, but just want to make sure I said linear, not polar.
Call. Right, we get the call here by 9. Nice, love to see it. Use again. And then call here. How could I have a flop, buddy? I check the flop. Don't get you up an ace, innit? Go on, Joey. Come on, Joey. I saw eyes and heart take drugs with no conscience. My people dilate like pollen on pillage with slow watches. Flick it in, Daddy. Yeah. You've got a set, you fucking gimp. What the fuck are you doing? What's this 10 seconds of my life?
To be fair, you overbet with a flush. He was worried about you having a flush. Okay, so here on game 5, again a big bet or check spot. We're gonna big bet this hand. Just generally does well. Could be against sets for sure. But Limped pot down here. I'm bluffing with 8-4 off.
Brian, if you're watching, it's because I need to move everything and move all the cameras and borders and the table stuff. I need to do it 6 times. So I'm going to do it when I'm not 9 tabling 2 teams. Want to be more though?
Gonna squeeze. Squeeze? Yep, you're seeing it. If Weasel doesn't respond to me soon, I'm leaving it. We get called. I'm gonna go big bet.
Yeah. In which case, I won't bother. Moves you up higher in the directory.
Gonna go again, picking up the hearts. Same thing in terms of interacting with the continuous here. A lot of them are going to be interacting with the ace of hearts here. And then I think after we get 2 calls, I don't think we're against that many good hands. So I think we're just going to go for it. I was worried about that, but happens. Maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe my first instinct was like, there'll be probably a lot of sets. All right. Weasel talks too fast for me to catch his responses. He did respond to me, but okay, I'm gonna move this down here. We busted the 55 with 10s. And I just don't feel like playing the 55. But up here, we have this. I'm gonna move game 3 to be the high roller. There we go. A6, huh? And so we have 2 pair here. Call flop. River this. I am calling in the big blind with queen 8, which might be a little ambitious, but I think it's okay. Probably going to be going in for the 100K on the 215 again. I don't know what I think about that ace queen bluff. Because, like, on the one hand, I don't think we have that much showdown value. I guess we do against flushes, like flush draws that missed. So, but on the other hand, if he has 8s, I think he might just fold. And we're going to fold this. We're 3-betting, though, in game 1 with ace queen. And we get top pair, to which I think we will just half pot. Our first re-register, second, first. So I know in cash, this is like a range block spot kind of. We just pick up so much king X. That seems fine. That seems fine as a strategy. Like we still get to value bet against the queens, and yeah, seems okay. What do I need to do? There's something else I was gonna do. I did that. I'll play the music again. And now I think we just check and try to show down. And we're in a weird spot if we get bluffed at or bet at. See where my head's at, though. Like, I do expect there to still be like 7, 8, 10 jack, clubs. But there's still fives and sixes. Obviously, we'd like to have a heart because ace-x of hearts. But like the heart hands might just jam, and like we still have all the club combos left, like all the ace-x of clubs and stuff like that. This hearts, does like any king do this? I don't know, and I think we have in a different hand, and I'm gonna call. He's just 7-8 of hearts. I just wasn't sure there. I really didn't have an opinion, and I think it's likely a call in theory. So we went for it. We're gonna call here with ace-10. That's also a hand worth marking. I'm not sure about it. It might just be a fold on river too. But if it's true that I'm range betting turn, like blocking, which maybe I'm not. Maybe I don't need to do that. But or like blocking pretty aggressively, probably not range, but like blocking a lot. Ace queen is pretty high in my range on the river. Maybe I just like want. Like I feel like ace-x of hearts just jams turn or something. Maybe not. I don't know. I truly don't know. How deep were we? 60. What table am I on right now? I'm so bad at this. Not an interesting one. We're bluffing with fives. We're overbetting turn here. Range betting flop small. And then we're just going to overbet turn. With fives, which I think is fine. But I don't know. And then... Where's your makeup? I look old. Brutal. Brutal. I got old. Sure did. It's how life works. Sorry, I'm like time banking here in a spot where I'm always calling. Yeah. You know, I got 2 kids. They'll age you. Just have a hand that can never fold, obviously. Really good run out for us to never fold. So many bluffs. So many. It would be really hard for me to find a fold here. Wow, he goes over bet. I'm blocking a set. Like how does 4-5, ace-5, ace-4, spades, 5-6. Like the jack doesn't really interact with barrels. We just go for it. You just have twos, which is fair. I don't know. Just a lot of bluffs. Damn. I could not have been more wrong about this turn strat. It's interesting. We're just jamming ace queen. That makes a lot of sense, actually, given the exact hand that he had. I have no hands going on. Okay, so let's say we range bet, though. Yeah, our hand's a check, and then he jams. Yeah, our hand's indifferent. Yeah, our hand's like an indifferent call, so it's like not that ace queen. I was curious about that ace queen spot. Cool decision by going all three streets. Yeah, I, I'm just not sure about. I agree with you. I'm just not sure if it's like. Yeah, I'm just not sure. Yeah, I think I rarely. I'm not beating myself up, but I appreciate the words of reassurance. I'm not showing you the game I'm playing. So open call calls, check through on the flop, and then check bet fold call on the turn. And now here we are. Probably not a spot I'm gonna fold. Just like looks like a good turn. I do expect there to be like still kings. Maybe it is a spot I can fold. I talked myself out of it, actually. I'm gonna find the fold here. Thank you, Figaro. Nice to be back. As old as I look, apparently. Excuse me. Like giving in that ace queen hand, given the sizings and stuff that I chose, we are basically range betting turn. If we choose 25, but we the chosen size by Ruse or GTO Wizard AI, whatever you want to call it, was all in. It's interesting. Oh, in my first years. Yeah, I mean, how long ago was that though? Like 4 years? It's not that long, but it's an important 4 years for aging, you know? Like the difference between, I'm 32 now, so the difference between 28 and 32. I feel like you look a lot different in that time. See, I started streaming after my second deployment. So my second deployment was, what year was that? When was that? I don't really have even a reference for it. Like, it's 2025. I got out in 23. Was it 2021? My first stream? I don't know. Should I try that $55 again? I don't really want to. I'm enjoying just chilling with the 4 tables. Oh, you're good, man. It's aging's a good thing. Happy to look older. Wiser. Probably good for my brand, you know? I do coaching now, so people I gotta look wise. Oh, man. I don't know how people view that Jack 8 hand. I don't know how people view bluffs there. Like, I should have so many, so much air by the time we get to that river. I don't have spades, backdoor hearts, just so many auto folds, you know? That, like, surely people don't shut down 4-5. And, like, by the time he's putting in that size, like, he's saying he has a full house. It's a pretty narrow range of hands, and I had an 8, so I'm cutting those down by a lot. Like, I'd probably rather have a pair, any pair, than, like, aces. Dude, in this 60K, this 109, not the one that you guys are seeing, but I've gone up and down. Do we call? Probably not. This one, I've just gone like up and down and up and down and up and down constantly. Playing 5-4 of diamonds in the high roller. Got a hand we can bluff a couple streets with. If you guys haven't seen, any of you are here, I've been doing, yeah, 4 kids look twice as old. See, the math lines up. If you guys haven't seen though, I'm making YouTube content these days. That's where most of my creative content creator energy is going. So please check it out. I got Weasel next to us again. I don't think I'm into whatever fucking song this is. I'm gonna go throw a burrito in the microwave. It's taking too hard to it was too difficult to unwrap this meal prepped burrito. We have 10s down here. Oops, not down there. We have queens in the high roller. Jam, probably a little aggressive. Go to 10. Calling all in. We're gonna squeeze the queens. If this hand folds, we'll go to it. We get called. This might be a spot where we just can go all in. We're getting jammed on with the queens, which is really poopy, but probably ace king. It is. It's exactly ace king. We're gonna jam here and go to the ace king hand because this is kind of hype. This is twice now we've gotten these crazy all ins. We got called by 10 jack of diamonds, which is the and we won. Crazy amounts of equity for them. Wild, we won that. It's gonna kill our like all in EV today. Thank you, the Captain Nemo. Gonna call sixes. Can obviously call. It's a good turn for our hand. So maybe even, it might be leadable. I think we should see a real polar strat from our opponent here. We get the check. And then I'm just gonna check call probably. We win. Wow, no bluff with the 9-10. Real bizarre. People just don't bluff. Like there's so many bluffs people shut down in tournaments that are just super standard. Okay, I'm gonna throw this in the microwave. I want my burrito to be cool by break. Ace King in the high roller. 3-time starting stack, which is just insane. So weird that the chat is black and white. I don't know. I don't know what that is, but oh, I'm seeing new follows. I've been bad at like calling that out. Thank you for the follows, guys. Steve-O, thank you. Raise All In, thank you. The Captain Nemo, Phil Connors. Real Frankie followed yesterday. Thank you guys for the follows. And H4 Diamonds here. Probably also a bigger check spot. No reason to go big with Ace 4 Diamonds, probably. We face small. Some check raise possibilities, but we probably just going to call. All right, we'll fold this. Jack, Jack. I'm not sure if this is a 3-bet, but it's probably something like this. With the 10s here, we open and hoping to get, I think, call is interesting. Could easily be aces. Shouldn't be much ace X. It can be a lot more ace X from Bob B here. We're going to go small. So on game 2, we call a 3-bet pre-flop, and we got small quarter pot on flop, and we called. And we turned the queen, which is interesting. Oh, very interesting. We can still be good. What's interesting here is if a 9 or a 10 to search a bluff, like if he has 8-9 or ace 10 or ace 9 or ace 5 or... So the interesting thing here is I actually think we're good fairly often. I'm going to bluff. I don't have time to talk you through why, but I'm going to. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Figaro. Oh, he has Jack with the spade. That's the one hand that I expect to call down a lot. So talk you through that last hand. I expect it to be a lot of hands worse than mine. I don't know if this is good. Let me preface that, which is true of everything. 60K? Yeah. I expect it to be hands worse than mine fairly often, but I don't think often enough to where calling is better than the times I actually think I'll get a fold from. Like if he has a jack there without the spade, I think we get it through. And then, oh, we're getting all in with ace queen here. Spice. Yep. I think we get folds fairly often there too. And he might even think he can go thin for value with like a set of kings or something like that I think will fold. So I think bluffing outperforms bluff catching, even though I do think bluff catching is probably profitable as well. There's just not enough jack X in his check back range. But you see he has like jack with the spade. And he like full time banked. Decided to call. Mitigate a good reg. I need to put on my records that how many? I've only got 2 here. Yep, it's just 2. And I have yet to fire again here, so we're good. I gotta go get my burrito. And I do want to block ace jack, I think. Even though, yeah, whatever. I don't know if that bluff's good. That's a good one that I maybe will save for the live hand review I'm going to do with Kevin. Hey, Beach Nick. It is the Captain Nemo, Jared Alderman coaching. Yep. That's it. All right, where are we at here? 10-2 suited out of the big blind. Thanks, man. Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. So we called 10 jack off in the button because we're so short. So we're going to realize better. We flop a gutter. It is nutted equity. Just going to fold. And then down here, we're going to check raise. And then we get the 3-bet, which we're just going to fold to. We're all in with king nine off with 4 blinds, hoping for a big spin up. Just dodge an ace. We did it. We did it. Round 1. Part 1 of spin up plan complete. Time for part 2. We're part 2. Part 2 commence. This is pretty good for a part 2. Wow, so many outs. Yeah. We did it. Part 2 complete. We're just shy of average now. This battery's getting low, guys. We do have king in the high roller. Ooh, most importantly, actually, though. We're short here in the 215. It's not a ton of runouts I'm worried about. I think I'd want to encourage bluffing. Probably check raise the turn now. Check jam the turn now. Just jam the river. He might check back with 10 jack. That'd be unfortunate. He just has king queen. Equally unfortunate. I'm so really surprised he doesn't bet turn. It's a little strange to me. Okay, so I think this is a call for the 6 blinds with ace and off. I believe it is. We're ahead. We're going to re-enter the 215 another time. We lost. It's okay, though. So we are getting, guys, the amount of times we have been in what's about to be 5-bet pots in the high roller is insane. Obviously, this could be ace king. This could be aces, which honestly we'd be due. It would just be fair to be aces. But we've been in so many 5-bet pots. Which in tournaments is rare. There's just a lot more flatting, a lot more, and people just are generally under aggressing. But this guy looks pretty aggressive pre-flop, so it would make sense to see. So what table are you guys on? Okay, so Jack 6 suited, this short, I don't think we open. We're opening fives. Oh, and this is our next bullet in the 215. I'm surprised it's working. I thought I busted it. I did. So I'm a little confused at how it usually doesn't work. Like I have to reset it. Maybe I did, and I don't remember. Ooh, that's a pretty good flop though. 6 or ace, please. Weasel takes him. Try again. We try again, guys. I actually remember now I did reset it. Whoa, no, it just did it by itself. Nice. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I didn't reset it. Queen 10 off here. I have 100, like, how much is starting stack in this fucking tournament? Like 30K, right? I have 4 times starting stack in the high roller. Oh, 35,000. Still 3.5 times starting stack. It's like insane. King 2 suited. Calling multi-way. Improving big blind defense was a huge part of improving playing tournaments. Very big part. I was very okay. Well, just as the ranges get wider, big blind defense got less and less intuitive from what I was used to. We have 8-7 off. If it folds around, we will play it. My battery's about to die on my camera, guys. I might call the stream and re-fire it up if we run deep. They do not charge you to deposit. And yeah, they don't let you talk to each other, but I think it's just because chat was getting abused. But they do not charge you to deposit. I don't know where that's coming from. Do I? Oops. should probably change that. Just in the event. Where is he? I'm going to remove his tag. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Usually I go. I accidentally slipped my scroll wheel. Usually I go 4, but I went to 5 with 9/10 off, which I don't even know if it's a thing. Maybe I should just be calling. At least now we get to fold. Yeah, don't tell anybody. We're all in with a 9/7 suited with 8 blinds. Obviously happy to just pick it up. But we don't, but we're live. Very live. Ooh, less live. I mean, oh, made it. We made it. Do you think the black and white kind of looks cool? Or is it dumb? A5 Sue? Like, usually this is a 4-bet jam. Oh, wow. We got 4-bet jammed on. Saved me. He spared me. Spared me. I'd really like to make something happen in these morning flights tournaments. Sleepy. I was up late last night. Have you guys ever played Charterstone? I've been playing the board game Charterstone with my friends, and It is amazing. It's a board game. It's a legacy game, which I'd never heard of. I had never heard of a legacy game, and I just started playing this one, and it's sick. It's like the game changes from game to game, like the things that the effects that you do carry over from game to game. It is pretty dope. Calling King Ape. Gonna check raise. Check raise, get it in. He should go small. Some merit to going big. Oh. Well, now we just have the best hand. Could have aces, I guess. All right, guys. I think we're gonna call it soon. My camera's about to die. I'm getting it's charging from my computer right now, and it doesn't supply enough power to keep it charged throughout the day. So I'm gonna get like a higher voltage. Someone who knows fucking electrical engineering can tell me. But cable, so that I can I don't think it'd be voltage, amperage. I don't know, but so I can keep it charged all day, and then we'll start having longer streams. But please follow me on YouTube. That's where we're going to be starting to stream more. And we're going to have some live hand review videos coming up with Kevin Rabichow, where we're going to watch back some of my hands and talk through how exactly it is I think them through. And Kevin will give his input. All right, guys. I will talk to you later.